Hello traders, so you are welcome back to my live session, and in this video I'm going to be analyzing the gold market. Okay, and there is this saying that goes does that you don't see gold on the surface of the earth, so there is need to actually dig the ground and to look for that gold. Okay, so that is on the joke part. All right, so but nevertheless, as a trader you must also understand that you are not when you are trading gold, you are not just doing anyhow. You are not just trading with your emotion. You are not over leveraging. You are not letting your emotion to control you and all of that. So there is need for to build a right data for the financial markets, especially the gold market or any other currency out there. There is need for you to actually build a strong data to actually understand the flow of price, to know where price is currently, and to actually envision where price is going next. All right, so right now I'm going to be analyzing this gold market, and I'm going to try my best as possible to explain how to actually trade the gold market. So let us start by I'm envisioning to actually trade this gold market, to take a sell position. As you can see on my screen already, that I've already done my markups and all of that, and the next thing for me is that I'm waiting for price to actually come and retest this 5 minute supply zone, and that is what I'm currently waiting for. But I don't want to end it right there. I want to ensure to actually explain to you and understand my trade idea behind this gold market. So I usually trade top down analysis, and currently you see that this is 4 hour time frame, right? This is 4 hour time frame, and for some time I observed that price has currently price has already respected this 4 hour supply zone, right? So price respected this 4 hour supply zone, and if I zoom in on this 4 hour supply zone, you see that price has been creating higher highs and higher low, right? Price is creating higher highs, higher low, higher highs, higher low, higher highs, higher low, higher highs. Okay, so on 4 hour time frame, I can see that prices has already respected the 4 hour supply zone, and from here there is tendency that price might actually shift from buying to selling. There is high tendency for that. But before then, the next thing that I do is that I went down to my 1 hour time frame to actually see how price is reacting. Okay, so and if you look at this chart very well, and I'm going to prefer to actually start the analysis from this zone right there. So this is the first time that price actually respected this 4 hour supply zone, right? So when price respected this 4 hour supply zone, price find its way down here, creating higher low, right? So this is the next high that actually happened, but the next higher high that actually happened here is not a strong, in fact it's not a strong candle. Okay, although it is a strong candle, but you are going to notice that immediately price came all the way up here, price reversed a little bit, and price tried to actually push price to the upside to give us a valid break of structure to the upside, but that didn't happen. And what I actually observe on this trade is that there is a liquidity sweep above here. All right, so if I went down to 15-minute time frame, and this is just my trading process. Okay, so I actually observed that okay, this is a liquidity sweep above here. So when I observed that this is a liquidity sweep, I knew that it's like sellers wants to actually take control of price. And how did I know that? Okay, so I actually check the previous trend of price, and I noticed that price was creating higher highs and higher low on 15 minutes time frame. Okay, price created another higher highs and higher low, then price simply creates a new high above here, right? This is 15 minutes time frame. Now the next thing that I actually observe is that when price created this higher high, price actually reversed all the way to the downside, breaking this higher low, and that is where I actually knew that sellers has already taken over price. all right, sellers has already taken over price, because you observe that immediately price sweep this higher low, price simply came all the way up here to clear the liquidity above these double highs. So when price did that, price simply rejected with a liquidity candle, and from there I actually see that price has been selling to the downside. Price has been creating lower lows and lower highs, lower low and lower highs, lower low and lower highs, and lower low, right? So from there I was, and this was last week trade, right? So it was from last week that I have actually been monitoring this trade, that okay, I wish that price, in fact not that I wish, I know that price is going to come to this 15-minute supply zone. So, and my supply zone right there is this last buying candle that actually failed. So I marked this candle out, and as you can see that this is the 15-minute supply zone right there, right? So, and after that I actually see this week that price has already find its way back to this 15-minute supply zone. Okay, so when I observed that, and that was I think yesterday, okay, that was today is Tuesday, right? So around 2 a.m. in the morning, so price find its way back to this 15-minute supply zone, and from there I actually observed that price has already shifted to the downside. Okay, so as it has shifted to the downside, it actually aligns with the previous change in market shift. Okay, so it's more like price created this is probably lower highs kind of, or probably I don't know, higher highs, right? So this is where the market shift actually happened. So this is where price simply created lower lows and lower highs, right? That is the right thing for me to say. So price created lower highs and lower low, right? Then lower highs, and I believe that price wants to continue to sell to the downside. So let me just zoom my screen so to explain what I actually observed right there. So on my 15-minute time frame, what I actually first did immediately I actually opened this chart this afternoon is that I mark out my break of structure to the upside. As you can see that this is the 15-minute break of structure, which is a valid break of structure, and I actually observed that after price created this break of structure, it came all the way down, giving us another market shift, because right there price was creating higher highs and higher highs. Price might continue to take this uptrend, but price didn't do that. Price simply break through this internal higher low, right? So, and immediately I observed that, I also see that when price was okay, so when price got to this level, price simply reversed a little bit. Okay, and then it was from this place that price was consolidating, and after that price break structure to the downside, just a minor break of structure to the downside. All right, so you can see that this is 15 minutes 15 minutes break of structure. Okay, so it was from here that I actually knew that price is in a downtrend. Okay, so and what I did is that I mark up my 15 minutes. Okay, as you can see, I've already done that in the morning. So I mark this zone as my 15 minutes supply zone. You can see that. So in the morning I was expecting, because as you can see right now that what price is actually doing right here is a lot of consolidation happening in the financial market, right? You can see that price was consolidating around here. So, and I always know that when price is consolidating, the what price is actually interpreting to traders is that there is a liquidity. Okay, that even though the selling movement has already started, it won't keep selling in a straight line. And the best thing is that we should actually wait for liquidity sweep, because price will not move to any direction without liquidity. Okay, so I observed that there is a liquidity above this zone. As you can see that I already marked that out, so I knew that there is a liquidity above here and below here. And what I was actually waiting for in the afternoon is that price should sweep the liquidity above here and below here. Okay, and then after that, I want to expect price to, after price came all the way down here, I want to expect price to find its way back to this supply zone that caused price to actually break to the downside before I take my sell trade. All right, so that is my trade idea. Okay, that is my trade idea, and eventually I see that price has already, and this actually happened around, this is 15:30, that is around 3:30 this afternoon. So price break this consolidation zone around 3:30 this afternoon, and currently you can see that price already retested a minimal an internal 1 hour demand zone. Okay, so I think I should just identify this. So this is 1 hour demand zone. Okay, so and you can see that immediately price came all the way down here, price is finding its way back up. All right, so and that is what I'm currently waiting for, and you can see that currently price is moving a little bit to find its way back to this zone right there before I take my sell trade. Okay, so this is my trade idea about the gold markets, and I hope that you understand. So I have already set my stop loss. So I set my stop loss above the liquidity sweep, above the liquidity candle that actually happened there, and I set my take profit on the 1 hour demand zone. Okay, so I set it at this. In fact, I have two take profit zone right there, so I can either take my profit around there or around there, any of that zone, but I prefer to take my profit at this zone right there. Okay, so this is going to just be kind of probably swing trade that is going to take about 24 to 48 hours. So, and I know that right now I just need to learn to wait for price to actually approach this my entry, and after that I'm just going to hope for the best. Okay, so this is my trade idea. I hope that you understand my trade idea for your trading journey as well. So traders, I'm going to see you in the next video. All right traders, so I don't want to fail to not document this trading. Okay, I mean this particular trade, because what I actually noticed is that, in fact this is the second day, all right. So yesterday I actually envisioned this gold market that is going to crash to the downside, but sincerely I actually missed this trade, and even I actually did not understand something, and I know that one of the things that is going to help me is to actually document this. Okay, even though my trade setup is correct, but I didn't realize that price has already started moving. Okay, so and because I've already checked the chart and I understand what price actually did, and I just want to document it. All right, so I did not lose on this trade and I did not make any profits, but I want to ensure that I document this trade process so that for the future reference I'm going to learn from it. So one thing that I discovered yesterday, when I checked this chart, I think late yesterday, was that I actually mark up my 1 hour demand zone, right? My 1 hour demand zone here. Okay, just that I've cleared it. So this is 1 hour demand zone. Yeah, so now if I go back to 5 minutes time frame, so yesterday I actually what I actually envisioned yesterday was that I was expecting price, in fact I was expecting price to actually sweep liquidity on this consolidation zone. So now yesterday my own thought was that oh, I want the liquidity sweep to be strong. Okay, this particular candle I expect it to be a strong candle to close below this consolidation zone, but when I see that it closed with wick, that actually convinced me, and immediately price closed with this wick. Okay, price simply go all the way up to sweep the liquidity above here as well. So immediately price did that. Okay, price just keeps selling to the downside. All right, because my own thought yesterday was that because price did not close with strong wick to the downside, So I noticed that it has already cleared the liquidity above here. So what I was expecting is that after it clears this liquidity, price will come all the way down here to close this, to clear all the liquidity below here as well with a strong candle. Then it is before then that I will now look for a retest before I take a sell trade. But that didn't actually happen, and I believe that I have learned from this trade setup already. Okay, so and currently price has already, I've already missed this trade. It's fine, I already missed this trade. So I missed this trade, and I know that tomorrow, right, tomorrow I'm going to like it may not even be tomorrow, but I know that for the future references, I've already learned from this trade setup. So when this trade setup shows up, I already know what to look for on consolidation zone, and which is going to actually save me a lot of stress. I know that. Okay, so that is something that because I always say something that it is one thing that you are losing in the financial market, and it is another thing that you know the reason why that you make that loss. So, and it's something that I just believe that I have figured out. So traders, it is very good that you know the reason why you are making a loss. Okay, so I just hope that you and I learn from this trade, and we just hope for a better days. Okay, so that is all about this video. Stay true to yourself.